Involved. Engage-toi.
Take action.
Aktiviere deine Stimme.
We're union and we're proud.
Welcome to Activate Live. I'm Delane Adams, a communications representative here at the Machinists Union headquarters in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And we have Joe Heckman in the production booth making it happen for us here on Activate Live. We have an important show for you today. More than 130 members of IAM Local 2018 employed at Regal Beloit Manufacturing in Valparaiso, Indiana, have been on strike since Sunday, June 30th. So please show some solidarity for Local 2018 in the comments section. And joining us now is David Gault, lead negotiator and Local 2018 business representative. Welcome to the show, David.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, welcome to the show again, but before we jump into the story, tell us some things about the local and the work that they do there in Indiana.
Okay, Local Lodge 2018 represents the workers at Regal Beloit, about 130 members. They build aircraft bearings for helicopters and aircraft for companies for the United States Air Force and Army and Marine Corps.
So providing support for our military men and women.
Yes.
Okay. So you're the lead negotiator for this. What's your background? How did you get here?
Well, I've been a union member for 20 years, 17 years I did at Snyder Electric in Peru, Indiana, and got called out of that shop and came on staff 3 years ago and worked with Marty St. Peters down in for Silgan in Evansville, Indiana, and found out I love fighting for rights for our members. So I decided to stay and work as hard as I can to help our members.
Well, good. I know we're blessed to have you. So David, let's get into this. Why are members of Local 2018 on strike?
Okay. The main reason the members are on strike is health care, wages, and employee cost share, the cost of health care, low wage increases over the last 2 contracts, a probationary period, moving to calendar days rather than work days rather than calendar days, and break times.
So you mentioned the last 2 contracts. Members ended up negotiating, giving up a lot for the company in concessions to make the company profitable?
Sure. The company was having some major issues for the past 2 contracts. They laid part of that burden to help turn the company around on our members. Our members stepped up to the plate. They agreed that they would be willing to take this to turn this company around with the promise that this contract they would make it up to the members, and they have not done so.
So you mentioned about people stepping up to the plate. How have people in the community and other unions helped members of Local 2018?
Well, we've seen the steel workers here locally in Valparaiso stepped up and collaborated with the Moose Lodge to provide dinners for our members that are out on strike every day until the strike ends. They also are providing us with ice for our coolers, water. We've also seen the community step up. A few councilmen have showed up, delivering donuts and coffee in the morning. The community is given half price for lunch and breakfast items and stuff like that. It's just been a huge support from the community.
So you see more of these strikes going on, and again, you mentioned all the community support. Why do you think more workers are standing up to employers in this day and age?
Well, really, I think there's a couple of reasons why, and one of them is because, the profits in this economy that we're in now, companies are making record profits, and they're not passing those record profits down to the employees. And with healthcare costs continually rising, and the employee taking a large share of that cost on their shoulders, it's hard for families and people to make it on the wages that they're receiving. So they're getting fed up and they're getting tired of it, and they're standing up and coming together in solidarity and fighting what they should get, what should be fair compensation for the work they do.
How are the men and women doing out there on the strike line now?
It's tough. A lot of them are, they've been through one strike, but it's been many years ago. Okay. So it was a couple of the struggles was getting everybody organized, helping them understand how a strike works, the rules, making sure no one breaks rules, like yelling and screaming and throwing rocks and doing things that are illegal, but still standing their ground and letting the company know that we're not going to stand for it. We want a fair and equitable contract.
Well, that's good. Let's hear what Midwest Territory GVP Steve Galloway had to say. Stand strong, sisters and brothers. Fight for what you rightfully deserve. Your lives, the lives of your family members, and workers everywhere depend on it. All around the U.S., more and more workers are coming together, standing up and saying no more. Your union applauds you for taking that stand, and we have your back all the way. Words from GVP Steve Galloway. Talk to us about the Midwest and their support, David.
I'll tell you what, that's awesome. We've seen a huge, tremendous support of the reps coming down from the Midwest Territory, bringing water and supplies and their experience and strength and support, encouraging words, stories to kind of break the somber mood, to make the membership laugh, and just coming down and having a good time and showing us support. So to hear GVP Galloway throw his support in there is just awesome.
Well, David, we stand in solidarity definitely with the members of Local 2018. Is there anything else you want to share before we leave?
Sure. I want to say thank you to GVP Galloway and the reps that came down. I want to say thank you to the steel workers for your support. It's very, very touching to see the support of the community to come around and give us supplies, and just it's just awesome. It makes you realize that you're not in it alone, that it is a full community that's backing us in our effort, and we just really, really appreciate it.
Well, David, thank you. We appreciate all the work you're doing on the front line. And again, for the men and women of Local 2018, stand strong, continue to fight, and we stand in solidarity. Thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day, and we'll continue to watch what's going on in Indiana. The 4th of July holiday is tomorrow. We would like to share a message from IAM International President Bob Martinez Jr. As we celebrate our nation's 243rd birthday, I'd like to wish all my machinist sisters and brothers a safe and enjoyable holiday. Those of us able to take a day off work to spend time with friends and family should never forget the millions who remain on duty. Our country's brave soldiers, police, firefighters, and first responders immediately come to mind. But let's also remember the thousands of IAM members on the job today and every day who assist our military in keeping us safe, and our members who make it possible to travel to see loved ones. Let us also remember that we are not just the United States of America. We should strive to be a united people of America as well. Our shared history began as a fight against oppression, and our development as a nation has often included struggle. For working people, those struggles continue. The generations before us first fought for the right to join a union, but today we must continue to fight to protect our livelihoods. No longer do we fight a monarchy. Today, greedy corporate interests try to impose their will on workers. As a fighting machinist, let's celebrate our past and strive for a better and more just future. In solidarity, President Bob Martinez. Well, we have some very important dates to keep in mind, so please mark your calendars. The deadline to register for the Financial Officers Program is July 22nd. The deadline for the Retiree Strategy Program is July 29th. The Young Workers Strategy Program is July 29th as well. And some of the meetings that we have coming up in July, we have the Texas AFL-CIO 60th Convention in San Antonio, Texas on July 25th through the 27th. And in August, we have the New Jersey State Council of Machinists in Atlantic City, New Jersey, August 5th through the 6th. And we have the Maritime Council of Machinists Biennial Conference in Moncton, New Brunswick, September 27th through the 28th. Well, this has been a great show so far, and we missed Tanya being in this seat, and we'll be happy that she's back next week. So that's it for this edition of Activate Live, but before we leave, we want to end today's show with a video from Yvette Kelly, a fired Delta Airlines worker who is fighting back after Delta fired her for being an IAM supporter. Please watch this video and help share her story, and we'll put a link in the comments section. And again, Yvette Avery's story about why she was fired from Delta. Please share her great story. Again, have a great holiday, and thank you for tuning in to Activate Live. Thank you.
Yvette Avery is a middle-class mom from Atlanta who puts family first.
Being a mother is definitely a struggle because in the beginning I was a single mother for the first few years that I was, had my kids. And before I moved here as a single mom and was, single for a few years. So doing it on your own has always been a big challenge. But I've always been one to try to face up to the challenges and do everything I can to take care of my family.
When she moved to Atlanta around 2003, she eventually found part-time employment at UPS. And now?
I work on the ramp. I'm a tug driver, also an alternate steward, and a wellness champion on the safety committee.
In 2011, the weight of raising a family forced Yvette to get a second job at Delta Airlines. She says Delta initially had no problems with her working at UPS.
I put it on my application because it wasn't an issue as far as I knew between the companies, so it was on the application when I applied. All of my supervisors over the years always knew that I worked for UPS. It was like common knowledge, especially during busy season at UPS. I would always, decrease my hours and swap out so I could work more at UPS just for those, busy seasons that we had. So it was common knowledge, never an issue over the years.
But management's mood changed when she recently spent personal time helping the IAM organize ramp and gate workers at Delta.
So I started wearing a union pin out at the gates on my uniform, passing out flyers in the break room and being very active out at the parking lot and different other areas, with the union. I was met in the office and told that I had 2 weeks to decide which job that I wanted to keep because all of a sudden UPS and Delta became a conflict of interest after 7 years.
Sadly, Delta dropped a bombshell and fired Yvette.
Still to this day, sometimes it's hard to realize that, the life that you've made and was used to and had to take care of your family, to accommodate your family, is now gone. So it's been very hard.
Yvette believes she was fired for publicly supporting the IAM and says Delta used her employment at UPS as a cover story. Her proof?
To this day, I am working next to people at UPS that still work for both companies. And it's been, people have 20 years of seniority at both companies.
Despite losing her job, Yvette still supports the IAM's organizing drive at Delta. She says the company's culture needs to change.
Understaffing, safety issues there, people getting hurt, not wanting to report it because they're afraid they won't have a job.
According to Yvette, Delta intimidates workers who speak out against the company, especially those who are caught helping the IAM.
So if we're out at the parking lots, we're being videotaped or pictures being taken of us. If we're out standing where the buses drop off at the airport on what we call landside, we've had supervisors come out, take pictures of us out there. So people are subject to anti-union videos on a daily basis in the break rooms. Those anti-union flyers are being set in the break room every day.
But Yvette is fighting back. She's volunteering with the IAM's organizing drive, and with the assistance of the union, she filed a complaint against Delta with the National Mediation Board. Unfortunately, the NMB refused to investigate. But despite all the drama at Delta, Avery says she's not bitter.
Well, I would love to go back to work, actually. I loved my job. I did it well.
She just wants worker fairness at one of the most profitable airlines in the world.
Having a grievance process, having stuff in black and white that you can, count and depend on, being able to retire with a pension, having, security, job security, having security no matter if you're injured on the job, you know that you're just not going to be targeted and kicked to the curb or put to the side because, of what's going on with you. You have, a steward or a representative that can back you and go into any meeting with you with management. So you just have that protection that you do not have unless you have a contract. And hopefully, in the end, I'll be back at work and we'll be, represented by the union and everything will go back to or go to what it needs to be here.